I think it's no secret that Ben Simmons has become one of the hottest topics of this offseason. And to be completely honest, it feels like he's one of the hottest topics every offseason. But this offseason, things hit the fan. I feel like every year we ask ourselves, what if Ben Simmons finally got a jump shot? And here we are yet again watching videos of Ben Simmons in the gym knocking down jump shots as we ask ourselves that very same question. How good could Ben Simmons really be if he could shoot the basketball at a league average rate? Let's be real, for Ben to go crazy, he doesn't have to be an elite shooter. He doesn't have to come out shooting like Curry. Hey, I would even say he doesn't even have to be a good shooter. As a matter of fact, I'll go even further and say he doesn't even have to be an average shooter. If Ben Simmons could shoot the ball at a slightly below average rate and shoot at that rate with confidence, he would be a completely different player. The thing about Ben Simmons is sometimes I think people fall in love with the question, how good can Ben Simmons really be, a little bit too much. The reality is that Ben Simmons can flat out go already, and say what you want, the 76ers losing that series was not solely on him. While Ben Simmons still has a ways to go, he can still alter games for the better. We're talking about a 6'9" defensive player of the year type talent. Being able to guard positions 1 through 5 at an adequate level is very rare in the NBA. While questions surrounding Ben's potential have been looming in this trade-heavy offseason, I think the questions surrounding his fit and his mindset are 10 times more important. I don't care what anybody says, I think Simmons has the potential to be an absolutely devastating small ball 5. While there are a ton of bigs that can get the ball and push the break, I don't think a lot of them do it at the level that Ben Simmons can. There have been so many reports surrounding Ben Simmons, it's hard to tell what's true and what's not. But recently I've been able to find a string of reports that blew my mind. And I know that these reports will do the same for you guys. Now, before we go any further, you guys will not want to miss another report, so be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications. You will not want to miss another Get Like Coop video. And that's facts. Guys, me, the Flight Mike, and Mike Korzimba started this awesome podcast. It's called Laced Up. The link to Laced Up will be down in the description below. Be sure to check it out. The Golden State Warriors are in one of the most interesting positions that I've ever seen, because this team has assets for the future, but at the same time, they have players that are dedicated to winning now. This past season, Steph Curry exercised his frustration with the Warriors time and time again. That's not to say that Steph Curry was ever going to leave. As a matter of fact, Steph Curry recently just signed a 4-year, $215 million extension with the Golden State Warriors. This contract makes Stephen Curry retiring in Golden State much more of a reality for those that never believed. I completely understood Curry's frustrations this past season. Outside of the team's core and a few young players, while the team had talent, they just didn't have the best collective basketball IQ. The more that I watch basketball over the years, the more I don't take basketball IQ for granted. Knowing where to be, knowing the proper rotations, knowing when and when not to shoot can take you so far in the NBA. It's actually a little ridiculous. While Draymond isn't the most talented offensive player in the world and has moments like this, he knows how to make himself invaluable for a star like Stephen Curry. While we're on the topic of Draymond, does anybody remember this clip that I showed you guys a few weeks ago?
And then at that point, if you're bringing back draft picks, that doesn't help Bradley Beal, who's going into year 10 of his career. So I think, number one, they have to decide whether they are committed to Russ long term. And if they are, as y'all said, then it's time to go get other veterans. But getting draft picks and placing them next to two All-Stars, that don't work.
Draymond said that putting young players next to stars does not work. In the comments below, I want to know how you guys feel about this quote from Draymond. Leading up to the NBA draft, we also saw reports that the Warriors core were pressuring the Warriors to trade for an all-star. But of course, there would be no trade. The Warriors would go on to draft Jonathan Kuminga with the number 7 pick in the NBA draft, and they would also go on to draft Moses Moody with the number 14 pick in the NBA draft. Kuminga's a big guy, tons of potential, has some PG to his game, and has been destroying the NBA Summer League. Oh, and did I mention that he's versatile with untapped defensive potential? And then you have Moses Moody, a guy that fits that 3-and-D mold with a good wingspan and gives you a little more than 3 on the offensive end. I've been sitting on this quote for a minute, and now I feel is the right time to bring it out. Quote, "If we can't win, then you should look at Joe Lacob and Bob Myers and Stephen Curry and Klay Thompson and Draymond Green and Andrew Wiggins and say you weren't good enough." Lacob said, "You're paying all that money, you weren't good enough. They need to be good enough, and they should be. They've won before, they're a little older, but they're still really good. Klay will be back. That's the key. I think we'll be good enough, yes. Now we add a few veterans, we're going to do that in free agency. You'll see in the next few days, then we have some incredible potential that we can bridge to the future. When you can do both those things at once, it's magic. Who does that? The Lakers didn't make the playoffs for 6 straight years. I don't want to be the Lakers. I don't want to be 6 years out. It's too important to me. I don't want to sit and be a losing team. I think we're going to be good and hopefully great every year." Essentially what Lacob is saying is that he doesn't want to mortgage his future. Now, whether I agree with him or not, I think this was an interesting statement to make, because on one hand, I don't agree with just trading guys to trade them if the offer isn't right. On the other hand, I'm making sure that I'm doing everything that I can to get more high-level win-now talent around one of the best point guards to ever play the game of basketball. I actually like what he said to an extent because it shows me that he's not desperate. When you're dealing from a place of desperation, the offers are always going to look worse. Leverage is a real thing, and you better believe it's real in NBA negotiations. Look at the Ben Simmons situation. While I think it's entirely possible that the 76ers still find a great deal for Simmons, the 76ers negotiations show a lack of faith in Simmons and have been anything but discreet. This has led to reports like this one that say that Ben Simmons is not answering the phone calls. He doesn't want to be with the 76ers, and from what I heard, he's not willing to report to training camp and will go as long as it takes for him to get out of Philly. This report didn't just come from anybody, it came from Kendrick Perkins. I know what you're thinking. Kendrick Perkins maybe isn't the most credible source to you, but check it out. Kendrick Perkins is a big clutch guy. He for sure is in touch with Rich Paul. Rich Paul is Ben Simmons' agent. Maybe I'm looking too far into things and you can let me know if I am, but I don't think they'd want Perkins on ESPN reporting nonsense. Say what you want about Clutch, but these guys know how to move and they know how to get deals done. Now, on top of these reports, we've seen that Ben wants to go to Cali, and we've also seen the Golden State Warriors reportedly reject the Ben Simmons offer. Apparently, Philadelphia wanted Andrew Wiggins, James Wiseman, the number 7 and 14 picks in the NBA draft, and 2 future first-rounders for Ben Simmons. In the comments below, if you are the Golden State Warriors, are you guys even thinking about that offer? Now look, I've gotten a lot of hate for this in group chats, and I'm not saying that I like the offer, but I like the idea of Ben Simmons in Golden State, even with Draymond Green, if Klay Thompson comes back healthy. Now, this is a basketball channel. We're going to disagree and I'm going to have bad takes every now and then. But let me know if this is not at least intriguing to you guys. Ben Simmons, Draymond Green, Klay Thompson, Steph Curry, and another shooter. The amount of playmaking and versatility that a lineup like that has is ridiculous. Draymond Green is the best playmaker that Steph's played with. Imagine this guy with Ben Simmons. Imagine the ball movement with Draymond and Ben Simmons. Now look, there would be 2 non-shooters in the starting lineup. I get it. But if that's your fear, you could make sure to stagger Ben and Draymond's minutes. When I say the idea out loud, it doesn't sound like the best idea, but I'm at least intrigued by it. Now, apparently, some people in the Warriors organization are intrigued by the idea while some aren't, sort of creating a divide. Quote, "I think the Warriors are divided on the potential fit of Simmons and Draymond Green. Zach Lowe asked Stephen A. Smith if he agreed, and Stephen A. said, I've been told that they are. They are divided. If you are the Golden State Warriors and the 76ers stop the nonsense offers and the price becomes right, do you look into trading for a guy like Ben Simmons? Keep in mind, you're getting Ben as he is, and he's still going to have that potential to develop into a much better player regardless of if you believe that he will or will not. Keep in mind that Kuminga and Moody have games beyond their years. There's a good chance that these players will be contributing for the Golden State Warriors sooner rather than later if the Warriors did opt to keep them. On top of that, I expect Wiseman to become much better in years to come. Zach Lowe kind of had the same opinion as me regarding the situation. Quote, Draymond really doesn't shoot anymore. Ben doesn't shoot. I mean, Ben doesn't even dunk in Game 7 when he's got an open dunk. You know, he passed it. But I wonder if we're all over fretting a little bit, because if you put those two with Steph Curry and Klay Thompson and just like pick a shooter, so you're playing Draymond at the 5 and Simmons at the 4, the level of playmaking and shooting is, I don't think the Warriors will do it. I don't quite know how I feel about it, but I'm a little more positive about it than most people. I agree with Lowe, and if the shooter that they started could do a little more than shoot, then I truly think that that lineup could be cooking with gas. Hey man, at the end of the day, a lot of the NBA is about fit. Do you guys think that the Golden State Warriors could be a potential fit for Ben Simmons? And if you don't, what team do you think he would fit best on and have the best chance to develop his game even further? Subscribe right now if you are new. You will not want to miss another video. Turn on notifications. Clicking the video on the screen right now is a great way to support my channel. I'm Gilly Coop, bringing you guys the scoop until our next upload.